Hey guys, welcome back to the Rum's Living channel. This is my review of the Rock Island Armory. It's the model number m1911a1fs. The price on this firearm is one of the major attractions to it. You are not going to find many 1911s, certainly of any kind of quality, that are in the $400 range. Just because it's $400 though does not mean that this is not a very high quality firearm. It is a 1911. All aftermarket 1911 parts fit and are interchangeable to this. One of the main reasons that you're going to save money on this firearm is the frame is a cast frame. It is not a hand forged like the slide and the barrel are. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a strong frame. They are very good at doing this. This is made over in the Philippines. One of the first things that I heard that people were talking about is that this is an exact copy of the Colt, and so much so that Rock Island Armory uses Colt's old machines. Well, that is incorrect. They did not ship over um, they did not ship over machinery or anything for that. All of it is done in the Philippines by computer-aided machines. While I'm talking about this comes in different sizes and in different features. This is the lowest one and coming in at about $400. I would recommend that unless you really just love the classic design of an old GI, that the best bang for your buck is going to be to step up just one step up. It's probably, $50 to $100, but with that, you're going to get. By the way, it's called the tactical model. The step up from this, and you're going to get removable, adjustable Novak sights. You're going to get an extended beaver tail that's not on here, and a skeletonized hammer and a skeletonized trigger. All that for the 50 or 100 bucks more, yeah, it's totally worth it if that's the stuff that you want to put on. If you can foresee yourself doing that anyway, then just go ahead and step up. But I like the classic design of this. I definitely like the price at $400 starting. The mags that come with this are Act Mag, which is an excellent mag. You may have heard of. There are so many different high quality manufacturers of mags out there, but Act Mag that comes with this is one of the highest quality. It's an 8+1, in case I didn't say that already. You have a flat mainspring housing, which is one of the only deviations from a standard 1911 GI. That's pretty much the only difference that I can see from a standard 1911 GI is this flat mainspring housing. The other ones have a slight curve here, kind of like I think the Ed Browns. This one does have a standard beaver tail on it. It is not extended. What I found is that I didn't have really problems with hammer bite so much as the edges right here on the beaver tail were so sharp that I was getting, friction and basically chafing, which kind of looked like hammer bite. So I just kind of ground those off a little bit and softened them up. While I'm on that, I did a whole fluff and buff on this, and before you all even get into messing with this particular firearm, now I'm not going to talk about all 1911s, but this one in general, you don't need to do anything to it. You do not need to do a trigger job on this. You do not need to polish, feed ramps. You don't need to. You just don't need to do anything to it. It is a very well-made firearm. It performs very well, and the trigger is particularly nice. But of course, I did a full fluff and buff on it. I did a trigger job. I did just about everything that you could do to this firearm without exchanging the parts. I didn't go get aftermarket parts that were just going to make this thing end up costing as much as, you know, other 1911s. The parts that are in it are good enough. It seemed to take to the trigger job very well. You just have to be very careful in knowing what you're doing. And I'm going to keep this video really short and sweet. This is just kind of a basic review of this Rock Island. I could talk forever about it, and I'm not going to. But if you think that you're going to just see one video on YouTube, disassemble it, take down your flat mainspring housing, and get to that, it's called a three-fingered spring. If you think that you're just going to pull that third finger back and get a trigger job done, you are sorely mistaken. There is a lot more to it than that, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can make this firearm malfunction right away from something just as simple as following one video about, hey man, all you got to do to get your trigger pull down to 3 pounds is this, and pull this little third finger on the three-finger spring just back a little bit. Well, trust me from experience, it's not that simple. And when you mess with one part of the firearm, you would be amazed at how many other things, like your safety, won't actuate, and everything else is going to feel crunchy and just not right. So I'm going to leave all the trigger jobs alone on this firearm, with my number one suggestion being, don't do it. Just leave it alone. Unless you really want to start learning about trigger jobs and fluff and buffs on fire. The number one problem with this firearm that I have heard from people and experience would be extraction, and the Rock Island Armory extractor, I've heard, is the most notorious thing to be a problem on this firearm. If you're going to change any part on this, I would keep it to the extractor. There's one called the Bulletproof. I think that one's highly recommended. I still have the standard one in here. This firearm has not been 100%. It's had 2 failure to ejects, and that's out of, I guess I finally have broken this in now. Rock Island Armory suggests a 500 round break-in, which is to say that I guess it's not fair to say that it hasn't been 100% reliable, because those happened within the first 500 rounds. They also happened with standard brass ammunition. There is cheap ammo, it's called toll ammo, Russian ammo out here, and it has steel case, and Blazer and other manufacturers use aluminum case. For some reason, those seem to be better. I'm not sure that they're going to be 100% either, but both of my jams, or excuse me, both of my failure to extract have been from Remington UMC brass. I've heard that you can just bend the extractor a little bit. I'm not going to go recommend you do that because I haven't done it and I don't know what I'm talking about that yet. But I've heard that you can just simply bend it or take it a step further and reprofile the extractor cutout so that it fits into the rim of the ammo better and therefore extracts more reliably. The grips on this are that come with it are wood, and I think they're really nice, and I think it looks good on it. A lot of people change grips out. That's just a 1911 thing, guys. You might not really understand it until you have a 1911, but for some reason, everybody likes to change their grips. I'm leaving mine alone. It's almost like I'm being different and standing out. That, hey, he's still got the wood grips on there. But people can also sort of recognize it. I don't know. I can. If I see somebody with wood grips on it, I know it's a Rock Island. when you're watching videos on this, my camera quality is not very good, but I think I'm still seeing a streak here uh, that makes it look glossy. When I first looked at my firearm, it seemed very dull, and I can tell you that you don't go polishing this or anything. Just handling it in your hands and cleaning your firearm with whatever lubrication that you're using, this becomes glossy all on its own very quick. So don't wonder why yours is dull. Like, even if you're wondering if it's not sealed or finished, it is. Just give it a little bit of time and it'll gloss up real fast. Let's see, we've gone through the extractor, forge line. This is a single action trigger. One of the main differences between this firearm or 1911s and other firearms such as Glocks that are double action. This is single action. And I kind of stayed away from single action firearms just because I wasn't comfortable with them at first. Um, but I can tell you from experience that once you get used to a single action firearm, you'll have no problems that that it's not double action. And single action triggers are where it's at as far as really accurate, crisp, glass breaking triggers. They just, uh, you may, once you fire a single action quality 1911, just be forewarned that you may be spoiled on single action from there on out. Every double action trigger that you pick up may just annoy you after that. So don't just be afraid of, a firearm because they're single action. What I recommend you do is get out and shoot one. Um, this is a very common firearm. One of your friends is going to have this firearm or a single action that you can try if you've never tried it. And, you know, if you can't find it any other way, go to the range. They're going to definitely, if your range rents guns, you're going to be able to try out a single action firearm. And I think you're going to get over any preconceived notions or worries that you had about carrying a single action firearm. Let me give you a closer look up here. Slide catches on the last round, stays open. You have your slide release right here. Then your hammer's going to stay back. Put your safety on. This is how you carry a 1911, folks. Just get used to it. Some people have problems seeing that hammer back. That's how it's supposed to be. This is how you carry it. When you draw, the only difference between this single action and a double action is that you must make one action, basically. You must pull down the safety. Not a big deal. This is a training issue. Just remember what firearm you're carrying. Won't be an issue for you. All right, I said I'd keep this short, so I'm going to keep my word on this one. I could go on and on forever about 1911s or trigger jobs or way in depth. I need you guys to let me know what you want to know further about this. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it like that because this is a great firearm, just how it is. You can leave it alone. You'll be totally happy with it. By the way, it's chambered at 45. I guess I should have mentioned that from the start. If you've never shot a 45 or a 1911, you're missing out. Please go experience it once. Talk about a ton of fun to shoot. This is the definition. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is Rum's Living Channel. You guys have a great day.